Hello, Ducks fans, hockey fans in Orange County, California, United States, Canada, Finland, and all over the world. Happy Wednesday, everybody. So, our season, our Ducks 28th season has come to an end 10 days ago, and most of us are not surprised. Most of us are disappointed, angry, frustrated, and what more can I say? What more can we talk about after 56 games, a short season, the third in our team's history? What I'm about to say and tell you guys is that as much as we have to endure this season through the challenging times we face and mostly outside events that we have to keep a close eye on, our team did the best they could in providing a positive distraction and also a glimpse to the future of our team. The optimism that we have seen, and mostly I have seen and read and heard and talked to and debated about on the Ducks message board and on Facebook and other social media outlets, is the one that we're looking at truly the revival of our team, the rebirth of the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, truly, I'm going to give you my personal opinion, the honest facts, the truths, my truths, which I have seen, I have I have looked at the stats, and to give you a very open and honest view about this team and what really ails them and what made them weak as we saw, and the frustrations that we um, showed each game, each loss that we mostly saw through the games and the highlights and the stats that we vented many, many times over the past 3 or 4 months. I'll give you my personal account and my personal outlook on this. Uh, Usually, like all teams in sports, especially in NHL, you got to have scoring. You got to have offense. You got to have offense that will ensure the complete victory, the domination over your enemies, your rivals. And unfortunately, our Ducks didn't show that. Didn't show any sense of that killer instinct that we were expecting. We were hoping for, and it boggles our minds. It annoys the hell out of me to see a team that has so much potential and so much uh, potential to be something, to be a force to be reckoned with, didn't come to absolute completion and full finish in a way that we, as Ducks fans and hockey fans, were hoping to see. Now, since this is the third time our Ducks have not made the playoffs, it's very much of a silver lining that we look at in the long picture. The long picture is that we reevaluate. Now, I know most of you have all heard the rebuild, the retooling. In the videos that I've produced in the past, I've always used the rebuild and the rejuvenation phase to describe and to give my take on what ails our team, what made our team weak, the injection of youth, the supposed off season or not off season, the off year that's been thrown around about why some of the Ducks veterans have not been what we expect them to be. honestly, I'll tell you one thing about it, and this is it. There are some excuses that I will not tolerate, and there are some excuses that I really hate. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay? The excuses that Bob Murray have made over the past few weeks is just I can't really describe it, but I'm not trying so hard not to really show my anger at that man who has been around for 13 years now. It's I'll go ahead and say it. Bob Murray dropped the ball. He dropped the ball on this team. He dropped the ball before the beginning of the season, before the puck drop. How did he drop the ball? I'll tell you how did he drop the ball. Okay, in the power play, the Ducks are 31st in the power play. That's dead last. Okay, dead last. In the Ducks goals for, they are 31st ranking on goals for. That's also dead last. Those two are red flags, unacceptable, and absolutely shameful. You can't win if you score less goals. You can't win if your power play is like near the bottom or right at the bottom. No excuses. Absolutely fracking unacceptable in so many ways. I mean, we all ask, how in the world, in the hell can this happen? Of course, you've got a man who is so willfully stubborn, it's not even funny. And Ellis Aikens, of course, hey, look, I really don't know. I gave him a benefit of the doubt if he can turn this team around. And apparently, too many factors like playing. Too many factors. Is there some miscommunication? Is there some disagreements going on in the locker room? Who knows? Look, I'm not a fly on the wall, but who knows, to be honest with you. But all it comes down to is that the results that we want does not be the victories and the triumphs that we all expect from our team. As I mentioned many times, the Ducks are good, but they're not that good. They have the potential to be great, to be something that would carry on the legacy of perseverance that all Ducks fans, including those in Orange County, California, love and appreciate. Now, like many of you, I've followed this team since day one. Even though that I'm not from your country, that I'm on the East Coast. Now, I will give you some interesting tidbits, okay? The Ducks finishing last in the Honda West Division. It's the 6th time they have finished last in the division. The Ducks have finished last in what was the Pacific Division was in 94, 95, 99, 2000, 2000, 2001, 2001, and 2002. And the last time the Ducks finished last in the division was in 2011, 2012. That was basically 9 years ago. How time flies, eh? 9 years ago, okay? That's how time flies. Now, what did the Ducks do back then? How did they solve that problem? Of course, they retooled. But then again, there has been issues that should have been done, should have been dealt with. Of course, scoring is one of them. As I mentioned before, 36 in scoring, in goals for, unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. You know what? It's not unacceptable. It's absolutely terrible. Okay? I basically trust the 94-95 Mighty Ducks to score more goals than this team now. It is basically, looking back at all the 56 games, there has been inconsistencies, there's been flaws, there's been issues, there's been weaknesses, and like some of the other fellow Ducks fans on the message board, on Twitter, on Facebook, I've all said everything from mismanagement to frustrations to anger. We all want this team to succeed. We all want to see the Ducks reclaim the Stanley Cup, be restored to greatness. Okay. Yes. I share many of you guys' anger and frustration. And I know this. I know this very well. I mean, you don't have to look at this bald head right here. Many times this team has stressed me out, even though I'm on the East Coast of Canada. I mean, a lot of improvements have to be made on this team. And what this team needs to do is need to make major reforms. Major reforms that would ensure this team can not have the same issues they have that happened this season, this short season, and the season prior, where it was cut off due to a certain challenge that many of us are facing right now. One of them is basically, of course, you need to fix the power play, which of course is dead last. It's 36th place in overall in the NHL in stats. I mean, 8.9% productive. It's basically, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be remedied. And also, just like the penalty killing, just like the goals for, which, i.e., scoring. Okay. Also, you need to ensure some certain habits do not, once the puck drop for the 29th season for our team, repeat itself. One of them is basically allowing the other team to score, allowing our enemies and rivals in the NHL and in the division, basically LA, San Jose, and of course the Golden Knights, or I call them the Magnetos, score the first goal. I mean, how many times have our team allowed the opposition to score the first goal, or our enemy, Los Angeles or San Jose, score the first goal? Many times, man. I mean, I've lost count to, oh my gosh. I stopped counting in 98 or 99. That's how long I've followed this team. So, I mean, so much things that needs to improve. I mean, there were good moments. And there were also bad moments. I'll start with the goods, okay? And this is no in disrespect to anybody, but this is my personal vision on the goods. I could sum it up in 5 words: Trevor Zegras and Jeremy Drysdale. All right, now to the bads of this season. When you're this bad, when you have so much weaknesses, okay? When this team has the worst results and showing in 9 years, okay? You have the least number of wins, okay, than the 1994-95 Mighty Ducks roster edition. I mean, 17 wins out of 56 games. That's a downvote by me. Okay? The last time the Ducks basically will have less than 20 wins, or less than, like, say, 25 wins or something like that, it was basically in 94-95, and that was during the Ducks' second short season, and which was due to also a lockout. So that really, really bugs me. That really bugs the hell out of me. I mean, when you have less than 20 wins, okay, but what's worst of all is when our team has wins in the single digits, okay? Wins in the single digits. One of them is basically when you have 6 wins, okay, at home. 6 wins at home, even without fans, okay? That is unacceptable. That is really, really, really just insulting, to be honest with you. I mean, Ducks fans want to go see our team, see a team that come in, get on the skates, fight for a win, impose their will, our will, with us backing them, and to defeat LA or Detroit or Vancouver, or whatever. They don't want to see a team glide from here to here or let John Gibson just hold his own. And speaking of John Gibson, okay, I can't blame him for being tired of all the BS. I mean, my God. The goaltender cannot basically stand on his head and hold the line for 56 games to 82 games. They can do so much. And think about J.S. Jaguar, the Ducks' legendary goalie. He had to hold the line for so many times until Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And of course, you need players that can support their goalie, but also be engaging. You need defensemen that are ready to just jump in and just support the goalie, get the puck out, be consistent, be also alert. How many times our players have not been alert? Okay, how many times have our players have not cover up the passing lanes, intercept the passes between the opposition, okay, and us? There's been many times the Ducks allowed passing lanes to open up. There's been many times the Ducks have allowed things to happen, to have that control, have that the imposing of our will being lost. And many times it has come up. I mean, there has been 27 games the Ducks have scored the first goal, which was a plus. Out of the 27 games, they have lost 15 of them. Due in a small part, they built up a 3-0 lead, and they sat back and allowed either Gibson or Miller to hold the line as much as they can. Sounds familiar? We've seen it before. I don't need to mention you what games I'm telling you about, but you know well as much as I do. It makes you understand what John Gibson is going through, and I'm sure that John Gibson is probably giving Jay Jaguar, Jiggy up in Quebec, a few conversations in a way on how he had to deal with literally what the Mighty Ducks did during the 2002-2003 first rise towards prominence. I mean, I don't mind a goalie standing on his head, giving this team a chance to win, but when you have a goalie that is trying so hard and he's burnt out and the players are not engaging, that's another problem I have, and that's another problem that many of us have. I mean, going forward with this offseason, the Ducks got to do something. And I mean, I mentioned to you, like, the Ducks power play being dead last in the league. The goals for is dead last in the league. I've mentioned to you many times. I mean, if the Ducks had their confidence system up, I would not be surprised if the Ducks would be dead last in the Western Conference. I mean, the last time the Ducks were dead last in the Western Conference was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 2000, 2001. So, we could take basically as a plus with the NHL having a 4 division quasi mini leagues in a way, because that is another plus in a disappointing season, which this is, of course, is the worst result that we have. And the worst results, that is a sting, something that we're going to have to live with, just like the previous times our Ducks had fallen short, been abysmal, resulted in seasons that we were hoping were not worse, but it turned out to be. You can say what you want about this season. Yeah, I can say a lot of things, but I'm not going to say it because it would be a lot of things that would be a lot of cursing towards certain like players and management. But I can tell you this, that accountability on why this team is the way they are during those 56 games, during this third short season, rests solely on Bob Murray. Bob Murray, and I hate to sound like cliche, he needs to go. He needs to go for a few reasons, and he had many times, I lost count of them, to improve this team, to jumpstart this team, to light that spark, okay? I gave that man the benefit of the doubt. And apparently I believe, and I personally believe, that he is not fit to be a Ducks general manager. Even though he has 1 season left, 1 year left on his contract, just like Dallas Aikens. His failure to improve this team via trades, via signings, is just... What do you want me to say? I mean, signing one guy and expecting a win now mode is not going to guarantee you a Stanley Cup playoff finals, a championship, eternal honor and glory and all that stuff. It's basically a glass half full. And when you have opportunities and you allow it to pass by, I mean, there were rumors that, or conversations about him trying to dive into the trade market. I mean, before the trade deadline, and the Ducks were talking about trading Rickard Rakell or Josh Manson, and apparently they hold on to them or they price themselves out. Either way, failure to not do something at the trade deadline, or even have a lot of opportunities to trade Raquel or Manson or shake things up, is, again, as I say, unacceptable and shameful. I mean, we want this team to win. We want this team to succeed. So how are you going to, do a roster shakeup? Of course, you're going to do something that needs to be done, and that's trades, okay? We all know, including myself, I know the Ducks rarely trade that would ensure a roster shakeup. I mean, I can name a few. As you know, the Teemu Selanne trade on February of 1996, the Chris Pronger trade of July of 2006, the J.S. Jaguar trade, which was basically giving a young, unknown farmhand, AHL farmhand, a chance to succeed. Those are the 3 trades. Also, the Ryan Kessler trade. These were trades that made our team, changed our team for the better, and also made our team, our Anaheim Ducks, very effective in competing for the Stanley Cup, fighting for hockey domination, Pacific Division, in the NHL West, and of course the league itself. failure to do that is reasons why that we need to see him gone. But of course, with accusations of indifference and other accusations from indifference to not spending a dime, it is what it is. It is what it is. I know that we're all frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I mean, I would rather see this team score like 6 or 7 goals a game instead of like scoring 3 goals and just or 1 and just stop playing. I mean, 60 minutes full, consistent, game in and game out. Either it's on at the home at the Honda Center or on the road away from the Honda Center. It what makes the team great and effective to be worthy of winning the Stanley Cup. And the Ducks being with this full of youth and experience, which are 2 key ingredients. And you also need to be healthy as well. You know, the injuries, again, of course, some of the players that were injured, it really affected our Ducks roster. It really affected the Ducks strategies and playing styles going forward. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the stats don't lie, as I say. I mean, at home with the 18-4, on the road away from the Honda, 11-12-5. It is what it is. It tells you something about that. I mean, of course, at the bottom of the Pacific Division, it is a red flag and a sign of what ails our team. Okay? And the Ducks hitting the bottom of the NHL Western Conference twice in 94, 95, and 2000, 2001 is another sign of the weakness, of the red flag, and of what is ailing our team. Okay? Now, I'm just going to say this, is that, is our Ducks bad? Is this team bad? The answer to you is this: no. Why? You look at who is the leading scorer of the Ducks. Okay? Max Comtois. 16 goals, 17 assists, 33 points. He's a young guy. He's come along pretty well. I was impressed with him in a few games, and I was impressed with what he has done. I mean, you know, it's the effort that counts. And if Getzlaf decides to retire, then he probably is the next face of our mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks. Troy Terry, 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points. Danton Heinen, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Trevor Zegras, 3 goals, 10 assists, 13 points. Sam Steele, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Max Jones, 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points. Isaac Lundstrom, 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. Alexander Volkov, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Jakob Larsson, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Jamie Drysdale, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Now, you ask yourself, why am I telling you this? It's the future. I'm telling you the names of these future. I'm telling you the names of the next generation of Ducks. And this season, I always had a feeling that it's a trial and error season. You know, call it a transition or whatever, okay? When this team, with the struggles they face and the inconsistencies they face, it's the youth that provided the positivity, the greatness, okay, which is a preview of what we'll be seeing in years to come. Hopefully, we can see a lot of contributions coming from them. And with the off season starting, rest assured and don't be surprised that the Ducks will be focusing on some of their RFAs, restricted free agents. I mean, Danton Heinen, Isaac Lundstrom, Max Jones, Sam Steele, Max Comtois, and of course, Alexander Volkov. I mean, you got to focus on these guys. They're the future core of this team. And as for the UFAs, okay, Ricardo Rowney, Andy Winitsky, and 6 others in the AHL. It will be a decision based on who stays and who goes. And of course, you have the captain of the Anaheim Ducks, Ryan Getzlaf, who will be taking some time. I mean, to me, he's earned it. I mean, playing for the Ducks for since he was 20. I mean, he's 36 years old. He's got like, I think, 3 or 4 kids now. And I mean, his contract is now expired. There was talk of him of being traded to like Vegas, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be separate. I'm not sure if he wants to be separated from his family, but then again, he's a family guy. And I'm sure he has called Orange County his home since he was 20, and being the longest serving Duck on our team. I mean, he's been playing since 2005 and 06. He's got a few years left, and I'm sure if he decides to go through like signing a 1-year deal worth, like, say, I don't know, $1 million or $2 million, his experience can be beneficial to the next generation of Ducks, especially Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale, and the other young guys on our team. I mean, if there's one way to look at this season, and with everything I said, the goods, the bads, and talking about the future, it's the fact that this team, even though they were not that good, even though they were not that bad, they had potential. They provided all Ducks fans, including those that attended those 5 home games, a sense of community and unity. And it is something that the locals needed so much. I can tell, looking at the photos, looking at the at all the pictures, I can tell the joy, the happiness that was there, and the old and young faces, the Ducks fans that were able to get in, even though that they were allowed to have like 1,717 people at a game, 10%. Okay, it was something. It was a sight to see. It was a sight to see guys like, DJ JoJo, Sammy, pictured there and with Ducks fans and enjoying the game, no matter if they win or lose. It is what it is. I mean, it warms my heart to see that. It warms my heart to see that, even though, as I say again, even though it was only the 5 final home games, it's very great to see that sense of community of Ducks fans and hockey fans coming there to enjoy the game. Excuse me. So, what I take away from this is that with the Ducks being near the bottom of the league, okay, and basically at the bottom of the division, I don't see this as basically a defeat. I don't see any failure. All I see is that this is a setback, a major, massive setback. Is it a defeat? Well, it can be debated. But I can tell you this right now. with the off season, and as we all know, the Ducks tend to have a tendency to focus on their free agents, mostly restricted free agents, and then the unrestricted free agents. They need to focus on basically the trade market, because there's no way this team can come back for the 2021-2022 season, the 29th year of our team, to be in the same roster as it was. I mean, take away the excuses, take away the complaints, take away all this whatever. The need is this. If this team wants to compete, it has to make trades that are very, one, strategic, two, helps the development of the young guys. There's a lot of these young new bloods on this team within the rank and file of the Ducks. Especially, you just go to the website in San Diego, you see what I'm talking about. In doing so, it could help this team. It could help jumpstart this team. But we cannot allow this sort of same old, continue from now on. Like I said, the Ducks are good, but they're not that good, okay? If they want to be great, they have to make trades that are very strategic and go aggressively on free agent signings. Not too hyper aggressively or just pay a king's ransom. You got to be strategic up here. What more can I say about this season? It is what it is. And the Ducks will have a long summer to think about what they need to do to make sure that something like this never happens again or in seasons prior. Because there's a lot of weaknesses, a lot of ailments that the Ducks have that needs to be corrected and remedied. I mean, I could go on and on about what is wrong with this team and go into debates, but I know, for the Ducks to be revived and reborn, they have to make reforms, major reforms, to ensure this team can go back to the top, reclaim the lost glory, the honor, the pride, and of course, bring back that sense of community, okay? We need community. We need a sense of camaraderie among all Ducks fans, no matter if you're in the Orange County communities, in Anaheim, in Irvine, in Orange, in Mission Viejo, in Santa Ana, in Huntington Beach, in Laguna Beach, in Laguna Niguel, Bray, Yorba Linda, and San Clemente, and Mission Viejo, and Alessio Viejo, and Tuscan, and all the other communities in the OC, Orange County, to Finland and Sweden, and of course, all over the United States and Canada, and all over the world. Reforms are needed, and it can bring our team back to the top. And I hope that this season, as much as I say, can give all of us a sense of optimism. Even though that as much of the disappointment and frustration and the abysmal failures this team has shown, and this season now in the books, I do believe that the best is yet to come. And like life, we should never lose hope. Because with this 6 restricted free agents, I won't be surprised if these 6, along with Drysdale, along with the Z-Man, Trevor Zegras, can be that core group that could lift the Ducks up and become that force for good. Not just for us on the ice, and provide a sense of unity, but a product that we can all enjoy. A winning hockey team, but something that can inspire us, can motivate us in our lives, and give us a sense of optimism and hope. And this season feels like an in-between, but this season is one that, as many of us will look back as, it's been officially etched in the record books as one of the most frustrating and tough seasons. We will look back and see all the missed opportunities that should have been realized and should have been looked at. I mean, from speculation of whether or not Ducks getting Patrick Laine to Pierre Dubois to the what ifs on who the Ducks would trade, from Ricard Raquel to Josh Manson and Nick Delorier, to the opportunities given to some of the young guys. So who knows? It is what it is, and but we all know this team will rise again. The Ducks will be back, and I, for one, can't wait to see them soon at the Honda Center, my second home. Till then, I'll see you guys soon.